Okay, good evening, everyone. The March 9th meeting is called to order. It is 6 PM, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The emergency exits are this door on my immediate right and that other door. Roll call
Supervisor Ham?
here.
Council members Ahern? Here. Doyle? Here. Dietrich?
Here.
All present.
Okay. We need a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
Make
No. Yep,
the motion that we accept the agenda
as,
as
Well-
written, as proposed, with the
Second.
non-consent
Sorry.
agenda as well.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion?
Any opposed?
You want me to, so for the non-consent agenda, I make a motion that we withdraw this resolution to
So
appoint a
it's
town.
all the same agenda. You would have needed to amend the regular agenda and just say remove the non-consent resolution if you wanted to do that.
No, no, so, the discussion, we seconded, and then we have a discussion on the agenda. Vicky is suggesting that we amend the agenda, correct?
Amend the non-consent agenda,
So you want to
withdraw
Withdraw.
that item.
For purpose of clarification for the record, I understand what you're looking to do. With the new process that we do is, it would be part of your original motion, I believe, then, is what you're trying to do?
Ian told me it was to do it
Two
this way.
separate motion to amend the agenda?
No, we have the motion to accept the agenda, then there's a discussion. And then
We
the
called roll
discussion
call on
is
it.
that we want to eliminate one of the,
You called roll. You called the roll.
excuse me?
You called for roll. You
Oh,
said all
we
in
want to vote
favor.
on the first part?
So you're
Right,
calling for
it's one
dis-
vote.
So you're calling for discussion on her motion. As part of the discussion, now you're trying to make an action.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm looking, because you called the roll, it meant all in favor.
I did say all in favor.
Right, but we don't want to do that yet.
No, but we do, then we have a discussion. You
No.
make a motion, Ian said we made a motion to accept the agenda, like we do any other motion. And then we accept, right, we vote yes, and then we have a discussion, and then we amend it.
I understand what your concept is, but no,
Okay.
respectfully. So we're
But
in discussion.
There is an amendment.
Go ahead, then, open it, we're under discussion.
We're under discussion for the motion to accept the agenda and the non-consent agenda?
It's not two separate agendas, it's actually one agenda, so
You
the
just wanna
entire
vote
page is
withdraw.
one agenda.
So I'd like to make a motion that we withdraw the resolution to appoint a town council person to the vacant seat.
Is there a second?
Oh, certainly. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So now that you've had discussion, there's a motion to adopt the amended agenda.
I make a motion that we adopt the amended agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is amended.
Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session to interview applicants for landscape architects for Fountain Square.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Before we start, though, I need a couple of minutes for the board, so if you could just,
6:05 PM.
Makes sense.
I sent you some questions that, and he kind of explained to me what a motion to exit executive session.
Make that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we need a motion to enter back into the regular meeting. It is 7:30, right on the dot, so can I have a motion to return to the regular meeting?
I'll motion to return to the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public comment on agenda items.
It was amended and we removed, the non-consent resolution.
Any public comment on the agenda items?
Should I
George?
wait to,
Are you, is this on the, is this on the agenda?
yeah,
He's probably gonna speak on the, historical society part. I think he's asking if he should speak now or during this.
Yeah, no, he can
Speak now. Speak now.
Hi, everyone. My name is George Bestranson, and I live at 3498 Route 343 here in Amenia. The Amenia Historical Society has applied for a grant to put on a play to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. The play's about events that happened here in Amenia. We have gotten permission from you all, thank you, to do it in the theater here in Town Hall. There are a couple issues with the theater that we'd like to rectify. One of them is the walls in the stage and the ceiling are white, and it's really distracting. So it would be great if we could paint the walls and the ceiling black, a matte black, that wouldn't be so visual. So that's one item that I'd like to apply to get money to someone to do that, to apply for a grant to do that, and I want to get your permission to do that painting, so that I can. And the other thing that an opportunity has come up that I would like to take advantage of, and I think the town should take advantage of, is I met David Palmieri. He works for a television studio, and he has access to the rigging to put up lighting on the ceiling. And he's kind of scoped it all out and designed it. I have a design for you. He worked out itemized items. It's about $2,000 just for the items. When he first talked about putting up this lighting grid, I said, oh, that's going to be like $20,000. But he's asking for about $2,000 to buy the materials, and he's going to put it up himself. So this is a great savings. So again, I'd like permission from the town to apply for a grant so that this can be done. And I have, I just made one copy, sorry. I just have a sample letter. If the town could give me a letter like that I could submit with the grant, just basically giving me permission, letting the grantor know that
I thought
we
we
have
already sent
permission.
this.
this is exactly the same as the other letter, except I've added in painting
Okay,
the stage black and putting in the grid.
So you added this additional stuff to the grant you already applied for?
No, I'm
Oh.
applying for totally new grants.
Totally
Okay.
new grant.
The grants
Okay.
that I applied for are already set,
Yeah.
and so I can't change
Okay.
those.
What's your deadlines for this grant?
Well, the play's in August.
Yes.
David works, and he doesn't know his schedule. So I think we need to get this all done by June.
So you're saying the grant then it would be another reimbursable grant?
No, I think they should I don't think it's reimbursable. I don't know the timeline on it. There's no guarantee that I'm getting a grant. I'm just asking permission right now to get a letter so that I can send to the grantors.
You
To
don't
look
yet
for-
have a grant application identified that would be supportive of this particular.
No, the grant I sent in to the county for the 250, all that money's for other things. It's not for this. This is an additional This is in addition.
And this grant is gonna go to who? This grant application is going to whom?
I'll have to look for foundations and other
Okay,
people.
so
I
you haven't
haven't,
located anybody yet, that's what's the question. You haven't
Yeah.
determined who you were going to apply to
that's
yet.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bill's beating you. And then I think Jim
Bill
wants
Flood.
to.
I'm on the committee with George and some other people, that we have a sort of ad hoc committee going here. If the town board can float this, the money will come. We're gonna do some other major renovations in that auditorium. It needs new curtains, it needs a new stage curtain, which does not meet the code. We have a price also for some sound systems, but we're gonna look at some others contractors to do it. There's some painting he needs the painting done up front, to get him going for his play. So we're trying to move things along a little bit. And I think what we'll do is, once we get everybody, we have air conditioning people coming tomorrow to give us quotes, so that we're starting to get quotes for everything. Update what we have to do with John and so on and so forth. The bathrooms have to be redone. We did go into if you've never been into the projection room, you should go in and it's worth the visit. It's incredible. Everybody's written there from the 1940s and 1930s. I went to school here, it's incredible. Anyway, that's what we're doing, so if we can just float enough money to keep him going, I think the grants will come and we'll start a fundraiser and get some other monies. Thanks.
Jim?
So I'm speaking to the last agenda item. My name's Jim Wright. I've lived in Amenia Union since 1984, served on the Zoning Board of Appeals from September 2017 until this past November. Was also a member of the Wastewater Committee from October 2020, again until last fall. I resigned both positions because I was elected as the interim executive director of the Food of Life Pantry at St. Thomas in Amenia Union following our priest's resignation from that post in November. I'm also the warden of the vestry at St. Thomas, which is, for anybody who doesn't know, it's analogous to the chairman of a governing board. I wrote a letter to the editor of the Millerton News. It appeared in last week's edition. I also posted it to the 3 Facebook community forums. The point of the letter was to urge the town board to appoint Charlie Miller to the vacant seat because of the many things that he has accomplished for the town. As a member of the Wastewater Committee, I witnessed how Charlie investigated every available resource to get a treatment system built for the hamlet. He found them, learned what to do to qualify them, applied for them, initiated testing our streams so the results supported our applications. He was tireless and focused and committed to doing everything he could to improve Amenia for residents and business alike. Since I had firsthand knowledge of Charlie's perseverance, I understood how he succeeded in, number one, getting the town garage construction project started after years of unfulfilled promises. He was also instrumental in writing the RFB to hire engineers to fix the town's water district. $600,000 he secured for the Highway Garage salt shed. $2.7 million for the water district capital improvements through the New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Grant. Charlie wrote and managed other grants for the town until Christy Gast started writing them in 2025, but he continued to manage them. As the salary budget director, he learned that the town could be earning a lot more interest in its account. He moved town funds to the New York State Guaranteed Investment Fund, which resulted in over $190,000 in revenue. As the director, he published the details of the town's finances, introducing transparency to them for the first time in many years. He accomplished all this largely as a volunteer. Going forward, if he's not asked to take this vacant seat, Consultants will have to be found, interviewed, supervised, and paid. In my letter to the editor, I addressed the controversy surrounding the way Charlie handled the submission of the first draft of the 2026 budget report. I did get some of the details wrong, and I apologize for that. But the bottom line is, a labor lawyer was hired to investigate what happened, and he determined that Charlie made a mistake. It was not a criminal, malicious, or dishonest action. It was a careless mistake. Charlie recognized and apologized for this mistake. The bigger mistake would be to ignore the support he received from the town's voters and to throw aside what he's done and will do for the community that we all love. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Two things. One, I would like to speak towards supporting anything the town board and the town can do in trying to fix the auditorium, improve it for the play. I think it would be a wonderful thing. I'm glad to see discussion of the cell tower funds on the agenda, and I look forward to hearing about that. And just as a matter of correction, the $2.7 million grant for the water committee was applied for and received by our engineers, Delaware Engineering. I don't think it's a good plan to say that somebody else did something which another company did.
Okay, anybody else? I guess there's nobody left. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the supervisor's report. So the water issue at 4931 Route 22 has finally been resolved without major tearing up of the road. That was a good thing. A new pipe was inserted. I met with George Whalen of the Millbrook Bank regarding Fountain Square, just to kind of get caught up in where we were in the past. And according to March, there's roughly $11,700 in the Fountain Square account that was donated by the Bank of Millbrook. And they also graciously offered to pay for the planting and a water system. The 2025 AFR Annual Finance Report has been completed and verified. A big thank you to Marge Arnold, and our bookkeeper, and Denise Williamson for getting that together. It's a huge undertaking. The binder's about this thick. The first meeting in April will be on Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, instead of the 2nd due to the religious holiday. I'd like to send out my congratulations to Ian Lindars and his team for being named top lawyers by the Hudson Valley Magazine. I attended a meeting of our EMS service. Yeah, give me a hand. I attended a meeting of our EMS services representatives hosted by Eric Alexander, our county legislator, and the chair of the County Public Safety Committee, and Councilman Dietrich. Councilman Dietrich will fill us in on details later on in the meeting. Thank you to our hosts and representatives from both Wasaik and Amenia, Chief Howard, Chief Shea, President Brian Whalen, Commissioners Jeff Barnett-Winsby and Damian Gutierrez, EMS Captain Dawn Marie Klingner, and EMS Lieutenant Chris Klingner. Just a little human interest thing, the young Rottweiler that was found on Route 343 and was taken to Happy Life Animal Rescue has since been adopted out. They have determined, the vet has determined, and the sad part of it is the vet has determined and the dog catcher is convinced that he was abandoned, he was a drop off, that he was bought, he's a purebred Rottweiler, but he had an issue and they think that he wasn't able to produce puppies, so they dropped him off. But he is now, thankfully, in a happy home. I spoke to both, so a parking issue on Main Street continues to be huge, especially on Facebook. I spoke to both the Village of Millerton and the Sheriff Imperati about our parking issues. Chief Olenek sent a copy of their tickets that they use and the notice they put on cars regarding overnight parking. Our constables can ticket, but until we get worked out, Sheriff Imperati said that he would assist with these issues. And all I had to do was send him an email, sending him our town traffic law code, and tell him where we specifically needed help with. And also because of the speed issues, I also requested that he put one of those speed wagons up so that the amount of traffic that goes through and the speeds that go through, we can keep track of that, and we'll get actually a traffic study. And he will do that as soon as all the snow is gone, so he has plenty of clearance to do that. So I was very pleased with that. So he got the email today, and he said that they will start monitoring the speed, and they will start this week, sending their guys out here to kind of go through town more often. I had the privilege of being a guest speaker at the Dutchess County Music Festival that was hosted at Weebatuck on Saturday. 5th and 6th graders from across the county came together and had a choral concert and instrumental concert. Kudos to the students and the teachers that put so much time and effort into this. They really did an amazing job for students so young. It was incredible. And, you know, it was different representatives from the different schools, and they got together, they practiced, and they really came together. It really was really amazing to see such young students do such an incredible work. And that ends my report. Clerk Klingler.
Good evening. The minutes from February 19th have been circulated and discussed. You guys ready to move forward with those?
I make a motion to accept those minutes.
Nicole?
It's
I'll
amended.
second with minor
Vicky?
corrections.
With the spelling of Margie, I'm so sorry, but nobody's seen them except for you four, that's fine. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The office has been quite busy with our collection of taxes, so I report to the board that collection of our taxes of the $9,092,450.59, collected $7,213,704.19, with the remaining $1,876,144.20. It also calculates out to be 251 parcels, and we've had a total of 1,777 parcels that paid. So I'm gonna continue to give you these numbers just for the purposes of our state comptroller. Also, I want to remind everybody out there, we all know that the town board is currently accepting applications for the open volunteer positions. Those applications are due to me by this Thursday, March 12th. As long as I can have them, I can inform the supervisor that I have them for interviews, and they can set up interviews the following week. We are currently seeking planning board alternates, ZBA alternate, CAC Climate Smart Task Force, Enhancement, and Housing Board. Should you be interested and you are a town resident, please send your letter of interest and resume to myself at townclerk@ameniany.gov, or drop it off at the town office or leave it in the mailbox. We would love to have our residents give back to this wonderful community and volunteer in any of these open current positions. Other than that, just kind of save the date, knowing ahead, due to the inclement weather and the cold, we had to push back our steak bake. It'll now be on hopefully the sunny day of May 2nd of this year. So if anyone's interested in those tickets, I do have them available in the town clerk's office.
When is
So
it?
it's May
Oh,
2nd.
they changed it again, because it
We
was
are-
April 25th.
Yeah, we're hoping for a nice, beautiful day. Come, take it, stay in or take out. So support your local fire departments, and as those fun events come up, whether it be a breakfast or a steak bake or whatever the case may be, support your local volunteers. They work really hard to serve our community, and this is a little way for them to help give back, see you out in the fields, and then we can support their activities.
Breakfast is Sunday?
Breakfast is this Sunday.
Yeah.
Had to get that out there. I know where this board comes on Sundays. That concludes the town clerk's report.
Okay, so Councilwoman Doyle had requested that we look at AI and how it might be able to help the town, and to give us and since I am like totally panicked at anything like that, I had a conversation with our videographer, and he agreed to come in and do a little presentation on use of AI in the workplace, and that it is safe. So, videographer, are you ready?
those that watch The Terminator.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. My name is Matthew Ham, for those that don't know me. Before I get started with the presentation, I just want to give you a little background on myself. I spent more than 25 years working in operations, environmental systems, and industrial production, everything from large-scale composting and soil engineering to high-output manufacturing and regulatory compliance. I've managed facilities under DEC Part 360 and SPEDIES permits and coordinated maintenance programs, and led teams in fast-paced industrial environments. And I've also worked directly here with you folks. So I understand how important it is for clear communication and accurate documentation for local government. Over the years, I've increasingly used AI tools to streamline workflows, analyze data, and improve operational facility. My goal today is to show how these same practical, safe tools can help your town save time, reduce paperwork, and focus on more with serving the residents. This presentation focuses on practical, grounded uses of AI that help our small town staff work more efficiently. The goal isn't to change who you are, it's to give our team better tools so they can spend less time buried in paperwork and more time serving residents. Now I'm having trouble with the mouse. Dawn, you want to go?
Absolutely.
Sorry, technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. Okay. What is AI? AI isn't a robot or a decision maker. It's a pattern matching tool that processes information quickly. Think of it like moving from a typewriter to a computer. The person behind the keyboard still makes the decisions. AI just speeds up the tedious parts so our staff can focus on judgment, expertise, and community needs. As you all know, Aminia's workload keeps growing. State mandates, federal requirements, infrastructure projects, but our staffing levels stay the same. This creates, even in my world, what I call a paper wall. AI helps us keep up without needing to hire a dozen new administrators. It supports projects like what we've had you guys have in front of you, like the Route 44 sidewalks, the highway garage, and water district tracking, handling, and documentation load. AI can be used for grant writing. It does not replace grant writers. It actually accelerates them. It can summarize long state and federal grants, which you've all seen can be several hundred pages, and being able to summarize that in a matter of minutes is very useful. It can help draft narratives and using technical data to identify grants we might otherwise miss. Budget analysis and financial oversight. This is where AI's pattern recognition really shines. It can scan receipts for audit prep, identify trends in fuel or material costs, and run what-if budget scenarios. None of this replaces the bookkeeper or auditor. It simply gives them cleaner data and more time to focus on accuracy and planning. AI also helps us communicate more clearly and more quickly. It can translate notices into Spanish or other languages, rewrite legal or technical text into plain English, and draft emergency updates during storms or water main breaks where residents get clearer information faster and staff spends less time rewriting the same messages. And of course, the big thing, concerns and security. We use AI responsibly. We never put sensitive data into public tools. We always have a human expert, expert review AI-generated content because AI can be wrong. And this isn't about replacing anyone, it's about reducing burnout. AI also gives staff their evenings and weekends back in handling repetitive tasks. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. You can start small, maybe one grant or one internal report. Stay transparent about how you use AI, and we keep Aminia the way it is, the neighbor helping neighbor. AI just gives us better tools to serve the community more efficiently. That's it.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Can you give a real-life example of some exercise that you did that helped you clarify one of those examples?
Yeah, so one of the big things is I currently work for Oldcastle APG, which is going to be a different name next week, but that's what it currently is at. And we often, with a facility that's high output, deal with large CapEx projects A lot of times ranging anywhere from, you know, something like $75,000 to $2, $3, $4, $5 million. Being able to put a lot of the information and be able to multitask, being involved in those things where you have multiple vendors, multiple material handlers, a lot of times regulatory agencies involved, being able to handle all those things seamlessly, being able to do it in a timely fashion. I mean, when you're doing a CapEx project that has like a 3-week time window, and you have, where I work specifically, DEP in Connecticut, when you have their regulatory stuff to follow, when you have vendors to follow, you can get all that information together and have it summarized. You can have it do reports, you can have it do what-if scenarios. I mean, it can pretty much answer everything. The thing with AI is it has access to all pretty much human knowledge. I mean, that's accessible online. So I think, you know, in that respect, I mean, even with regulatory stuff, summarizing DEC reports, I've used that in the past as well, summarizing trends and, for instance, compost temperature monitoring. You can graph out trends. You can collect data on stormwater issues like affluent flow and things like that. So,
What search engines do you use, or do you use several to double check your work?
There's several. I mean, you can cross-check them. I mean, the ones I have the most experience with are ChatGPT, there's Google Gemini, there's Microsoft Copilot. The thing with AI is they actually all use a similar model. They're based on each other, so a lot of times you get the same answer, but like slightly different. Now, fact-checking also comes from the experts as well. So in the town respect, you know, you may want to look at, if you're referencing a law, if someone calls you and wants to reference a zoning law, instead of you going through the books or, you know, having to call Ian every 5 minutes or something, you can like reference your own information. And, you know, so, and you can do it quickly. You know, you can ask it like, hey, this person's questioning a setback or something, what's our law? And it can give you even a way to respond to that where someone might understand, because we all know once you get involved in a lot of these especially town things, there's a lot of acronyms and everybody trying to keep them straight. You can say, this is what the layman term response is. Or you can give a very professional response as well. But obviously, whenever you're referencing something like that, it's always good to check with a professional and make sure that the information is accurate. But as far as reading data and things that are publicly available, you can't really beat the time and speed on it.
So if we were to come to you, for instance, with a specific question, you could help us format the question in a way that would be appropriate for the kind of information that we're trying to mine. We're trying to dig out the answer to a specific question, but not all of us are skilled yet at understanding how to pose that question and how to make sure that the data that they're finding on the web are correct, relevant. So you would help us, given that you are experienced at doing that. Is that what you're recommending, or you recommend that we?
Yeah, absolutely.
find
I would be willing to do that. And also to answer that question, absolutely. So there is a lot of people, it is a common misconception that AI is actually a shortcut. You do have to have an idea how to use it and how to ask the questions, because you can very quickly, like any other spot on the internet, you can very quickly end up down a rabbit hole if you're not careful. So it's important to know exactly what you're asking. It doesn't have to be the most professional ask too. If it's like a budget question, if you can say like, what is the trending, like if you were looking at like maintenance of this building, for instance, you could look back of years of data and say, is the building becoming more expensive, less expensive, neither way, like over the last 10 years, even though prices have gone up, are we doing anything more efficiently? You can go through and dig through all of that. And that's the one thing that AI is really strong at, is the pattern recognition and bringing up information based on data available. And you could actually take budgets and previous budgets, you can take previous bills, you can take anything, and you can put it in there and you can say, what is going on here? I mean, even with projects, if a company that you have that's bidding on a project, you can put that information in there and like, is this above, below, alongside the national average? Are we getting, you know, so there's a lot of things you can do with that. There's just so much a pool of data that you can pull it through. And there's also a lot of, one of the biggest concerns is something as a tech guy I'm really concerned with, is there's always the security risk. AI, like anything else, has its, weak spots, but the town and a lot of other organizations do have what they call tenants that oversee your internet usage, so it's easy to work with the IT group that you guys have to ensure that the AI information doesn't leak outside of the town, or that anything you do with it you can actually focus it so like nobody can use it for anything other than town business. Like they can't say, what am I gonna cook for dinner tonight, when you're supposed to be just, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of control over it, you know? And just like any other tool, it's really as useful as you make it. You know, it can learn a lot of things. As you use it, it does learn different things about you. It keeps track of the things you're working on, so you can create different workspaces for different things. You can have one workspace for budgeting, one workspace for different departments throughout the town, different boards. So there's a lot of options with it. All right.
Any other
Yes,
questions?
thank you very much.
How does one implement a system like that for something for us, for like budgets, so you know?
Well, it's really just having the good thing about AI is it's also very readily available. So you guys already use the Microsoft suite here, so Copilot 365 would actually
Make the most
integrate everything into you. It would have emails, you guys could share it. And actually the cool thing about having something like Copilot 365 is it also integrates with your files. So as you all share files together, you can actually work together in that space and still utilize it together. So you can work on things together, the AI will show you together, you can create Teams meetings where the AI will actually take notes for you and can implement anything that you've done there and put it in the workspace. So it's really pretty seamless, and there's really not a super steep learning curve. It's just a matter of getting it set up, and then once it's set up, it's almost automatic.
Okay. Thank you.
That's
Anybody
what we use at my office.
Copilot 360, yeah, we do as well. So it's very useful though, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much.
He obviously doesn't get his intelligence from his mother. Okay. Discussion items, the cell tower funds, councilperson?
Ahern. Yes, so we recently acquired our third cell tower account in October. And I think the question came up about, you know, where do we want to see that money go? Right now, currently, we have 1,200 going to Rex Capital Fund account, and then the remainder goes to the general fund account. And that balance, I actually asked Marge for a current balance of what the difference is, and this isn't even including the new cell tower fund, and it's about $5,000. And then minus the 1,200. That's the balance, that's the remainder that goes into the general fund right now. I had done some digging and found that back in 2005, there was a resolution that the cell tower funds was actually 100% going towards rec. 90% was going into that capital fund account, and then the 10% was going towards other recreation activities as needed. And then in 2009, it changed. Oh, I'm sorry, 2011, it changed, and then it was made to a fixed amount of 1,200 for Parks and Rec, and then the remainder was then put into the general fund. So I am asking that we have all cell tower funds moved to the general account, or the Rex Capital Fund Improvement Account. Since this change was made, it took them 10 years to get $140,000 that they spent last year to do the Beekman Park the playground over. So it's very hard for rec to move forward and do anything when we don't have the funds. And the cell tower funds otherwise is just getting dumped into general fund every month, actually. So right now, rec gets $14,400 a year towards their capital fund account. If you wanted a total, we're looking at $6,500 to go into this capital improvement for rec. Vicki, I had a question because you were on the board at the time in 2011 when they changed it. Do you recall why they changed it and why they started having the bigger amount into general fund? You know, because the only thing I could think
Certainly know
of.
the obvious question, which is we scoured the revenues for lines that could help us maintain a low tax great. So when expenses kept getting higher and our residents were limited in what they wanted to, we needed to stay low on our tax increases, and we looked line by line by line by line. Bingo, not gonna bring in more. Look at the revenue sources for the town. It is slim to none. We raise all of our funds, 90% through taxes. We get a few grants, we get a few things, but operating support for the town mostly comes out of your pocket in the form of taxes. So if our expenses go up exponentially higher and the residents aren't eager to do that, we had only one choice, is to look at revenue. Revenue, the only line we could see was that the rec wasn't spending down their savings account, and Victoria Perotti, I believe at the time, was our supervisor, and we all agreed that that was what she recommended, and that's what we did.
No, it was Wayne.
Who was
It was Uvard.
Oh, Wayne Newbord, okay. Very hard to find in the revenue, another place to find.
So how
operating.
much money did you say that would take from the general fund if we,
Well,
6,500.
it's 6,500 total, with the new one. So what is it, 5,000 minus the 12?
okay, so
With the new-
that's
I
per
think we
year or
No, that's a month.
per month?
That's a month. I mean, rec is not getting grants to do improvements, to do things. And if we do, they need seed money to be able to go after these grants, because there's usually a match, which we found when we didn't get the one for the Amelia Green concept. So I just don't know how rec can move forward and provide anything for anyone if we never have money put aside or invested to help grow.
How much is in the rec savings account now?
They don't have any, only what they
No,
They're
accumulated.
completely out
They spent the whole 140,000 to do the playground,
to do the playground.
yeah, which was at a discount. So I'm saying, like, to wait
Well,
another 10
playgrounds
years.
are expensive, there's no doubt
To
about
wait
it.
another 10 years to get $140,000.
Yeah, no,
which
grants are
doesn't
the
go
way,
far.
so they did apply for grants, they applied for.
They have in the past, and, they got the grant to redo the plan again. But you need matches, I mean, we needed matches for the
Well,
grant.
you're gonna need more than cell tower money to, you need
But we-
money,
but we need
and
to
it
start
needs to be
somewhere.
grants. And I think, we have a real grant writer, and I think that will make all the difference, much more difference than a little bit of extra cell tower money.
That's $70,000 a year,
What's that?
moving that cell tower to rec capital fund.
In other words, they would earn $70,000 a year.
Yeah, that's
Given
not
the
coming from
new-
taxpayers.
Well, I think,
No, my point is, no money is being allocated to recs, capital improvements, or funds, or projects otherwise, except $1,200 of cell tower money a month.
but the problem, I'm just gonna be devil's advocate just for fun, but, during the budgeting process,
Mhm.
that's when the town figures out what its priorities are. The town should set aside, X amount of money, like we do for the water district, for capital improvements. So in other words, you get your taxes in, your cell tower revenues, all of the bits and pieces for the general fund, and then you decide what the priorities are. And so at the fall, when you did your budgeting, didn't you say to yourself, they don't have enough money to go forward with this stuff? So,
Well, they're not,
in other words, we could be allocating a certain percentage of our revenue, of our general fund towards putting X amount towards capital improvement.
Well, that was
we
my
could just
other-
make a sensible, a decision.
I think the cell tower funding was sensible, but, okay.
Yeah, that's one step, but I would think
The general
overall,
fund at the
not
end of
just
the
a-
year,
yeah.
that was my other thought, was whatever's left of the rec's budget has been dumping back into general fund.
That's how everybody's.
Right, but
Budget.
that was my other idea, was that
Right, but-
maybe that shouldn't be happening.
So, right, we should have, as a board, I wasn't on the board the last 2 years, but there should be a capital reserve fund where we say every year, the water district is gonna have new transmission lines, right? So we have to keep plugging some money into that budget that's appropriate given the overall fiscal reality that the town faces. I'm just saying that
No, I
there
get it.
should be a thoughtful process, and maybe AI can help us try and understand where our priorities are if we have been missing the boat and not recognizing this, as you just brought
Yeah.
up, that shoot, we don't have any money to even apply for grants, to give the 20% matching fund that states require. So if you go out for a $200,000 grant, which is the minimum really for a state rec grant, then you have to have 20% matching funds, and that should be in a capital improvement fund. We should have known all along that we need a new highway garage, and that money should have been put every day, every time we have a little extra $12, we put it into that rainy day fund, like a normal person would. But I think we just have missed the boat, right? So you say they've come up short because they try and do one thing that they're supposed to do, which is provide playgrounds, right? But they're hundreds of thousands of dollars for just one piece of equipment these days. So we do have to rethink it, but I think it should be thought out in the overall picture of
Well, I'm
what
not
the
trying to
town's priorities.
yeah, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. It was done before, and then it was removed from them.
That's right, because we at the time did a knee-jerk reaction, said, we don't want to raise taxes at all. So we're going to take some of the money out of rec. So, that was a decision, a priority at the time. This is a new board. We need to deliberate. What is the proper amount?
Mhm.
I'd like to see that done at budget time, but I know it's hard to get everything done in September, October.
So maybe we should start thinking
We
about it
did.
now and having some of those deliberations now.
Agreed.
Mhm.
And I think if we can get some help analyzing our budget and saying, we talk about that's what we want to do, but where are we spending the money? Let's reallocate our numbers.
Just to give you an example, the moment you guys were talking about that, there is currently roughly 196 grants that explicitly mention local town municipalities and recreation. To give you an idea.
So it's a priority of our community.
Yeah, so you can actually, just as an example, because that was a perfect opportunity to use it, in the 5 minutes you were discussing that, you can break down the list of what actually, and now that you've asked the question, that's when you break down what is it for? Is it for playgrounds? Is it for sports programs? Is it for whatever general enrichment? And then you just start breaking down through that, and then you can do it through, you can say, oh, hey, we need one that's for nonprofits. We need ones that are, less matching or, different percentage that we are entitled to or whatever. But that's how you can start the whole process, and you can break it down from then on out and then, find them that way. So I just wanted to hit that point hard that in a short period of time, as you're discussing that, that's why it's really important to integrate those types of things. So.
So basically, if you look at the general, you look at grants, and then you can specify that. We
Yeah.
need money for playgrounds, we need money to fix the fence at basketball court, or beautify the basketball court, or put more benches in the park.
Right.
And then we can narrow down that search, and come up with.
And again, the good thing about that is that when you start breaking it down, you find out what grants actually you may have thought were recreational grants, but turn out to be a completely different grant that actually covers certain things. So yeah.
So we can start
No,
deliberating.
I do appreciate, us thinking this all through the whole year long, hearing that you don't have, the matching grants to apply for a grant that would get you over the finish line for the projects that you have in mind. But I think it's a process, right? And we allocate those things as those resources that we have from the taxpayers appropriately.
You're right. To you.
No, it's fine.
I went on the Recreation Commission in 2024. We had asked, as you point out, this is a new board, and that's the reason I would like to talk to you. We had asked that there be a line put into our budget back in 2024 for grant writing. And what we were told is that we could ask for money from the town if we wanted to get a grant written, which is not always all that easy to do because somebody else is searching then. You don't have a grant writer searching for you. As far as last year's budget goes, we were specifically asked by the budget officer to cut our budget down as much as possible. And we have really poor resources to try to run even activities and various other things for the kids because we did what we were asked. We're all working towards the same goal, so if somebody says to you, we need you to cut the budget, we cut the budget. We had originally budgeted $8,000 for soccer. We found that we didn't need that much. We cut it in half. We responded in trying to be as responsible a member of the town community as we could. So the dance money used to come out of the cell tower fund when it was run, and that was a very popular thing, and I know Vicki was involved with that. And there's just, it's hard to constantly have to go begging hat in hand, could you give us some money from somewhere to try to do something? And we do need to try to plan ahead, and maybe I should have stood up a little bit more last year, but I didn't. So I'm hoping that we could look towards it during the year and try to plan, because towns around us have real rec programs, and we don't. We don't have the money, we don't have the staff. So,
Can I just clarify?
absolutely.
I'm hearing maybe two things, and maybe I'm getting it wrong, is that what you just described was more like operations. You know, you have programs and you have operations and you do the crafts and the activities. But I was hearing from Cell Tower that it was really money that you really are looking for needs to go into capital improvements so that you can build the parks and build the infrastructure. So there's two different things that I'm hearing that you need. Maybe you need both.
Yes, it is really both, in my opinion, because we have the park in Wassaic and I know that that's tied up with the highway department down there, so the garage. So I understand that, but when it's moved, we've got nothing put aside. And I mean, the water committee is also going to ask for a reserve fund to be established and funded, because when you're doing a budget, these kinds of things should be built in, and I haven't seen them being built in for years, not just recently, but for years. And it would be lovely if this board could take the poll and run with it and try to get things established so that we run more like a business, instead of reacting all the time to, well, this tax is going to go up, that's going to go.
This is what Matt's talking about too.
Yeah.
The AI, this is what they can do for your budgets. They can go
Yes.
through the whole thing and say, okay, you're using this for this, but really it would be better to make this reserved for water or rec or whoever,
Yes.
because it's very difficult for just people to sit there and go through it. So,
And I really appreciate that Vicki brought it up, because on the school board, the New York State School Boards Association, which is the equivalent of your Association of Towns, has done courses on this presentations on this for the last 3 years. And it is amazing what you can do to try to help. And yes, as Matt said, one of the most important things is you need to know how to ask the question to get what you want. So this would be great if you guys could go forward with that. I commend you for bringing that up.
So, my thought is too, when you have your gathering on Saturday, you're kind of engaging
Yeah.
on recreation. On Saturday, you might be able from that come up with some priorities
Yes.
for rec.
Yes, and that's another thing. I ordered 4 poster boards, thinking that I had some sandwich boards to put them on, and I don't, in fact. And now I paid for the poster boards out of my pocket. I'll get reimbursed because the town didn't have a credit card that I could use at the time. And the cost for new sandwich boards is huge. So I'm going to ask a few local businesses if we can put them in their windows, because it's the only way I can think of to get them out there.
How much were they, the sandwich boards? Did you
The-
get that price on them?
The sandwich boards were only $80 each. I got 4 of them.
Oh, you did get them.
But, not the sandwich boards, sorry, no.
Oh.
They were 500 on one site, 700 on another site. I don't have that kind of credit where I could go ahead and pay for that and then get repaid. So,
Mostly Tony has a plastic one that you can use. I never did use it, but he offered it to us. He has a sandwich board.
oh, that would be great. Which Tony?
Tony Robustelli.
Robustelli, okay.
He does have one, and I borrowed.
I will call Tony. Thank you.
You could attach it to his plastic one.
Great, great. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll continue looking at this then,
Yeah.
as an overall,
So for now, I think you just need to tell Marge, because was it March? Somebody brought up the question of where's the new one going? So it's gonna
Oh,
continue to be
new
done.
cell tower
Right.
money. Yeah, we will have to make a decision. Yeah, right.
and
It's
the
a new
other,
revenue source.
the other factor is that Denise Williamson, our accountant, told us that as these retire, as these leases run out, we need to get more money. That what we're getting
Is
is
too low.
way too low, and that we should be able to get more. So that would also help offset, maybe we can split more,
Right.
and still have some for our general fund and have additional amount for recreation.
So there are contracts that we have, correct,
Yes.
with cell tower?
One
So
runs
when
out
they
in
come-
28 and 29,
Oh, okay.
so it's coming, but,
Yeah, that's fantastic.
okay?
Mhm.
Thank you. The animal shelter change. So we have a resolution to change our animal shelter for when the dog catcher catches a dog or a cat and it needs to be placed somewhere. The place that we used in Pine Plains no longer is not up to code and so cannot take animals. So our dog catcher recommended Happy Life Animal Rescue, and she's a very nice lady. I had lengthy conversations with her. She was the one who took the Rottweiler that was running on there. She has great success, adopting animals out. So that's why I asked her for the contract, to send her contract, and we'll be voting on that here shortly. So I just want to give you a little background on that. Are there any questions on that, on why and she's in Pauling, it's the most local place. So,
I mean, I had my questions. I don't know if we ever were able to get those answered or how we would get those answered. About,
after the 20 days, we're not responsible. Is that the question?
oh, for the daily fee?
Right.
Is that what,
And
okay.
usually they don't even have them for the 20 days. So the Rottweiler she had for about a week. So they have to hold them for 5 days and then they can put them out for adoption.
Oh, it's only 5. Wow.
5, yeah. But there's, an extension, they go up to 20. Because they can't necessarily adopt them out right away, but she seems to be very successful. So at the most, it'd be 20 days. We wouldn't pay anything past that. Then the shelter actually takes over.
What about when if they do get claimed and there's any bills incurred? Like, does the owner pay for them? Or are we on the hook?
So they have to, before they adopt them out, the town has to pay for any of the vet bills. So if they need shots or neutering, that is part of the contract. But that was part of our other contract as well, with Pine Plains.
And if the owner picks up the dog, though?
The owner picks up the dog, they're responsible from the time they pick up the dog, they're not.
Okay, so anything it's our
Right.
cost.
When I adopted my dog already had the shots and all, and had been neutered, and so, I didn't have to pay for any
Mhm.
of that. So, yeah.
Okay.
But I will have to say that our dog catcher is investigating where that dog might have come from. He's reaching out to people he knows that actually breeds Rottweilers to see if he can figure out. So if we could find out who dropped the dog, there may be a way of recouping some of the cost from that person. So, I mean, he is not just dropping it, he is doing an investigation.
And they're allowed to require them to pay for the bills that were
I would
incurred?
assume that they would, and I'm assuming that they would have to pay for some of them. There certainly would be some, everybody actually really frowns on people dropping dogs off and abandoning dogs. So they could be out of business. I mean, it could be a huge thing, so, yes. Anything else?
Not on that.
Okay, the Amelia Historical Society, George gave us a wonderful background on what he wanted to do, so I guess basically what I just need from you is an authorization to, we sent out that one letter for that one grant, you authorized me to send out the letter. You okay with my doing that for whatever grant George applies for?
Yes.
Yes, assuming that there is no, I think if there is a match requirement, we would need to be apprised of it.
Yeah.
Right, so if there's a grant that you're asking for and it says there's a cash match involved, then the town would need to authorize that.
Okay.
I think it might behoove the board to have any grants that you find, so more or less authorize finding the grants and then bring the grants to the board, so then you can see what exactly the requirements are of these grants before you start authorizing applications.
I won't do that. This is the Historical Society applying for the grant.
Oh,
I mean, if you don't want to give me permission, I'm not going to go through the rigmarole of having to bring grants to you and other people.
Well, but this is just supporting the fact that we're supporting you using our gym
I
for free.
I'm not asking for any money.
So basically,
Oh, okay.
so this is just giving him permission to use the stage,
It's just
That's
another
fine.
letter.
basically, for your
I could
church.
paint the
Oh, yeah.
walls, I could put the grid up on the ceiling.
Yeah, it doesn't cost us anything, so we can authorize her to support those things, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But actually leading, also with this, the email I sent, kind of getting you guys up to speed on that, I did find out that if we wanted to support it and get the painting done, we do need to get 2 more quotes, and I did reach out to John Nowak today to let him know. I don't know if you got to speak to him or not.
I didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I emailed him to let him know that we need 2 more quotes before we can go ahead with that if we wanted to get that going.
Is it within our maintenance budget that we have for the town?
Oh, I don't know where
Building.
we would pull it from.
I think there is usually a pretty good maintenance line that would absorb things like that. So maybe it is possible, once you get your quotes, we can find out what else John has in mind for using that. It's usually a pretty good, healthy.
And I actually am thinking that not all of these things will be in place, right? I mean, we probably aren't gonna get the air conditioning and all that.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
no.
So, I mean, some of the other updates
Pieces.
are, right, pieces,
Yeah.
so that, I mean, John spoke to me about that, and then getting estimates for that, I mean, that would be more grant kind of things, which Christie said probably would fall under like a Crest grant or something, so.
Right,
And
painting, you're
don't
not
ask
gonna
me
get a
what Crest
grant
stands for, because I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Judy does. But, you know, so those other pieces we can get, it's just basically what he needs for, right now,
Yeah.
for this play, all right? Okay. All right, now we're on to the consent agenda.
Ready?
Ready.
Okay, as we have our consent agenda looking, is there a motion to approve resolution number 34, resolution to make secret determination of significance and grant special use permit of approval? This would be referencing the Northern Red Oak LLC project. Resolution number 35, authorizing change order to Stat Locksmith contract in connections with the updates to the locks on the Town of Amenia Town Hall doors. Resolution number 36, authorizing execution of dog control housing agreement with Happy Life Animal Rescue.
I make that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Walter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Okay, other matters? Town board comments?
So, I'd like to just talk a little bit about, well, first I want to apologize to Judy, to the town, to everyone. I was wrong last time. We are a second-class town. I had the wrong information. I went out and studied immediately the next day and found that I was wrong. So I want everyone to know that I can do that myself. Anyway, we had a meeting, as our supervisor mentioned, with several of the people from EMS and the fire departments, and Eric Alexander came in, our legislator from Dutchess County. All of the counties in New York State have been told that they have to give a plan for emergency services to the state this year. And this is a daunting task. Right now, we are covered by a private company that charges a great deal of money and will continue probably to charge a great deal of money, so it's a major concern. What I got from the meeting that we had here was that the chiefs and everything felt okay with the amount that's being charged right now, because we need these services, but there was also a major consensus that it really behooves our government, both state and local, to see about making this more of like Dutchess County or even bigger. It's not mandated like the fire department, and I agree with them 100%, and so does Eric. The county had their meeting. I was asked to go originally, but then I don't know what happened. They weren't allowed to have speakers for some reason that day, so I did not get to go to that. But Eric said that the meeting, which was scheduled to be for maybe 20 minutes, ended up being a whole hour because it was so important, that it went really well, but this is a first step. I got the feeling from most of the people that were here, Don was there, that they think county would be a good place to start. One of the suggestions I made, which I'd like to make to our audience out there, write letters to the governor's office now. Say how important this is. How, it is one of the most vital things that we can think of for our town, especially as I get older and older. But it's scary to think that this is not something that I think it should be statewide personally, but
So
but
we're
it's,
asking her to do what? Governor Hochul to?
they need to make this a mandatory, just like the fire department,
Make it
that EMS, I mean, what?
It's essential.
Essential,
service.
yes, it's essential, thank
the
you very
language.
much. And what you guys told me, I didn't even know, with the hours of training, they go through so much more training than the police and the fire department. It's crazy that this is, this great state of ours can't do more to help its people, and it helps everyone, rich, poor, it doesn't matter, So I'm writing a letter, I'm getting everyone I can think of to write letters, and that's one of the strongest things, is that they hear from the public that they want this as an essential service for everybody.
And by doing that, it eliminates other towns being able to opt out.
Right, very good point, thank you.
So we all share equally in
Oh,
the
yeah.
cost of these
Yeah.
rural outposts that are very expensive per person to operate.
And then we'll have more money for recreation.
Hopefully, and water. Yes.
Great. The other thing that was mentioned at that meeting too, so speak to your grandchildren and neighbors and whatever, is the fact that volunteers,
Volunteers.
they are really having a hard time, and our local fire companies are aging out, and we don't have a lot of new blood coming in, so, spread the word. Like I said, talk to anybody you can think of. I know that we have Aaron Howard in the high school who does do that with some of his students, when he's in a great spot to recruit. But we need to do more to try to get, volunteers for the fire company and for EMS services.
After listening to them all speak, I just said, I think you guys are brilliant with what you do. I mean, it's just
They
amazing.
are really wonderful, yes.
Yeah,
We're
really.
very lucky to have the
Very,
people that we have.
very lucky.
And is it wildly expensive to hire a professional firefighting and
Ooh, I would
EMS
imagine.
team?
Anybody else on the town board have a comment?
I do back to just what we were talking about with the painting, the buildings, I have the budget in front of me. The maintenance line was budgeted for 60,000, so it is a pretty hefty.
I think we should just make that a priority, if that needs to be done anyway, and it's something that's gonna provide, I mean, it's a maintenance thing. You
Right.
paint your house, I'm sure, unless you know of something, or John knows of something that needs $60,000 worth of work, we should be able to do that.
Most of the things we need are much more than 60,000.
Yeah, right.
And like I said, the quote right now is 1,600, but,
Yeah, so
we
it's
have to
more
get
than
2 more
60,000.
anyway, because it's over 1,000.
I just have a question on that, when you sent your message, which I
Mhm.
thought was very good, because it was so full of information. And then this may sound really stupid, but, I forget the gentleman's name,
David.
David?
Mhm.
No, he was volunteering his time.
Yeah, I put that in the email as
Right.
well as George hit on that
Right.
too. The grid to put the lights on
Right.
eventually, he, said he could get that for 2,000, maybe
Right.
less, and, he is willing to install that.
So my question is, can people volunteer to help?
Not with the painting.
Not with painting?
It's
Yeah.
because it
Okay.
requires
The
scaffolding,
liability.
and it's a huge
I
liability.
imagine,
Yeah, okay.
I imagine hanging that other thing, can he volunteer to do that?
Scaffolding?
No, not the scaffolding. After the
Oh,
painting's
ladder.
done, he's gonna be hanging the suspended grid that the lights go on.
He's an expert, though. I mean,
He does it for a living, yeah.
If he's insured for it, that's a whole
Okay.
different conversation to have, and whether or not, we would have to discuss this with our carrier as well.
Okay.
Okay,
There's-
thank you.
That's where the
there's some
volunteering
extreme
comes in.
concern in New York State with anything above 6 feet, so.
Yeah, that's the threshold, 6 feet?
Okay, I'll go help you plant this somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, so we seem to be.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have one little quick comment, I'm sorry. Just the other day, I went to get my hair cut, and, no, wrong one. But anyway, people, please stop throwing the garbage on this road. I mean, whoever threw the whole case of empty beer cans by Troutbeck, I'll let you know, I picked it up.
It ended up in my driveway too.
Yours too?
Yeah, my.
I took them all, and I got that 5 cents. But it's just disgusting to see this. Why? You can just hold it for a little time and take it to your house and put it in the can.
I get
Thank you.
things out on my lawn all the time.
Me too.
Well, you're
Buried
on
in the
22.
snow.
Cleanup day,
Thank you.
annual
do you have a
cleanup
date?
day would be April 18th.
April,
and
thank you.
That's a Saturday, I believe, if I'm remembering. And we'd love to have communities adopt your little neighborhood or your little block and agree to do that. And then by noon, you can bring your bag trash or let me know where it is, and we'll pick it up along Yellow City Road and take it to the transfer station. But roadside trash, and particularly hamlets, are our goal. Both Amenia and Wassaic are magnets for trash.
After that cleanup day, I'm amazed when I drive along and see all of those bags along and think of the massive amount of trash that was picked up.
Everybody can do 5 minutes or 50 minutes, whatever they have time for.
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully it won't rain this year.
Okay, anybody else from the town board have a comment?
No, thank you.
All right, public comment on all business. Anybody?
We had a historical society meeting today.
Oh, we did.
This is George Bestranson. I live at 3498 Route 343 in Amenia. I'm on the cemetery committee. I gave you the report that I gave to the board of the Historical Society. I just want to bring to the attention, last year, the town hired Northwest Lawn, is it northeast or northwest? To get rid of the matted leaves and the down branches around the perimeter of the Amenia Burying Ground on Mygat Road. They did a great job clearing it out. They reseeded. One of the things that we also asked for is to remove trees in the precinct of the burying ground. These trees have a lot of shade. It promotes lichen and moss that are going to destroy also the roots, uproot the stones. Some of the big trees drop limbs that might damage a stone. So it would be really great to get rid of at least trees that we suspect that will be endangering the stones. And there are a lot of, if you see on the picture, it's kind of small, but you can see there are these young trees that we should remove now before they get older and do some destruction. So this is something that we're asking the town to take care of. I think, it's your property, and so I just want to bring that up. I know everyone's concerned about money, but it's something that should be, I think should be done now so that these trees don't do damage. Might be good to get it done before the leaves come on the trees, but anyway, I just want to bring that up to you. Any questions about that?
How many trees in?
I did, so last fall, I presented to Leo a proposal to remove 27 trees. I put them on a map. I put string around all the trees I wanted removed. I think the string is still there, orange string. And I don't know. I mean, it didn't get done.
I do know that the roots cause damage, because we had to have some trees taken out. In my family, they had planted these shrubs that got overgrown, and the roots actually, we took them out because the roots actually uplifted the stones. I mean, the roots can be very damaging.
Okay, so there's something to think about.
Okay. Who will we get to do that?
Lee Streets has a contract with the highway department for like 2,200 a day, so I think the best way is to go with something that's already been bid out and ask Megan's advice. She's got one tree there, we've got two in the cemetery. Can they get that done in a day and call it a day? I don't know. Where I would do is call Megan. I think it was like 2,200 a day.
Oh, they're little trees, so they might be able to get it done in a day.
Okay.
Leaves trees.
She feels obligated.
So we can get an estimate, right?
It's early.
Yeah, and talk to Megan and say, how
We
can we
changed the
dovetail?
cost just for you.
In 1 year, could be done over 2
First of all, thank you for the apology, Walter, but I make enough mistakes myself. That was not a big deal. No problem. Yeah. Let me see. As far as the cemetery goes, it is the town's responsibility to take care of the cemetery. So that sounds like a reasonable thing to do. Again, what Walter brought up about the essential services, that is something that absolutely should be done. And I hope everyone in this town realizes what our taxes would be if we had to hire professional firefighters, because you're talking real money there. And we should be very grateful to everybody who works in the rescue squad and the fire companies, because they perform a service that is dangerous for them and saves us a ton of money. So you're absolutely right. That's it. I just wanted to say good job.
One of the things that I would like to mention, I know I'm out of line here, but to go back to the EMS services and the fire company. So my niece is a police officer down in Sleepy Hollow, and she is in charge of the EMS services. I don't know what their name is, president, chief, whatever. And so the interesting thing is they're having all the same problems that we are having, and they're down in Westchester. And so, I mean, it is a statewide problem. It's not just us. I mean, they're the same thing. They have trouble getting volunteers. They have a volunteer fire company, and also the cost of the EMS services. So we're not alone.
Can I just make a comment on that? As one of your EMTs, and I currently serve as the EMT captain, I just want to let everybody know that it's an extremely rewarding position. And it's actually an honor to serve your own community as an EMS provider or a volunteer fireman, fire person, and to give back to your community. And if there's anybody out there that is watching tonight that is interested or wants to get to know a little bit more about what a fire EMS service has to do, I mean, I know tonight's a special night, it's a Monday night, and they're all at home watching us. But your volunteers are currently spending their Monday night They do truck checks, you know, they're doing training, they're doing meetings. You know, last week we did CPR. This weekend, Chris and I were at a class from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for our continuing education. But when you train together, you become a family together. And when you're called to perform a service, there's good times and then there's bad times. But it really does, we create a family. And some of the most rewarding times maybe where there may be a negative outcome, if you will, but to walk into a home and have one of your neighbors who are in the time of need, to see you walk in and just kind of finally get to breathe again as they're going through what they're going through. It's neighbors helping neighbors. And that is a calling, and that it's deep down in there, and no matter what you want to do to volunteer and give back, it's in you. And whether it's once a month or once a day or once a week, if you can afford to give back to your community, it is not like you guys are doing here to give back to your community, serve here, but it is a calling, and I would like to welcome anyone, whoever wants to talk about it, and just come to the firehouse. Start off, come into a pancake breakfast, get to know some of the members, look at the equipment. I can't really describe it or put it in words, but it's just something that if everybody in town was to volunteer one day, we can make a difference. So it starts with all of us.
Okay, thank you. All right, if there's nothing else, I make a motion that we adjourn into executive session regarding update on a potential litigation regarding the Route 44 sidewalk project.
Nicole, she's there.
That's fine.